Good morning. How are we all doing today? I'm expecting it to be dead zone in here this time. I've never gone on this early. This is going to be interesting. Or very very quiet. It's good to know some of my friendly lurkers are in here today as well. How are we all doing? What are you up to this early, Crystal? Yeah, I had a real nightmare with the internet last night. Couldn't believe it. It literally went off like 10 minutes before I was coming on. I was very displeased. I almost told you something about your volume, and then I found out I have volume off on my phone. Anything that goes wrong over the next couple of days wouldn't surprise me. You're still waking up. I forget that you do what you do, and obviously you have to wake up quite early to get into stuff. My son had a bit of a sniffly nose last night, so I didn't sleep much. I'm sure you know how that goes. Yeah, it was an interesting one. I was very reluctant to send him into school today, but he seemed to be fine. I just sent Cody off to work, and I have one sick daughter and one lazy daughter. Probably rather have the sick one. I always have like I have one lazy daughter as well, who's like, yeah, problem. So I can definitely get where you're coming from. I think I'm gonna have to try and find a balance. What I might try and do is I might try and go on like 4 o'clock my time as well. Try like 3 or 4 different test streams and just see how they do. Because I need to work something out. I'm gonna be very hands on with my son over the next month, so I don't know if I can be coming on at 1:30 in the morning my time anymore, or at least for a month. But we'll see. Is Cody your husband? I'm assuming. Might be wrong about that. I've never asked you. And I'm also 80, I think 83 hours into the water fast as well. Still going strong. I'll finally get to have some steamed vegetables tomorrow morning. I'm looking forward to that. It's like I predicted though. The first 2 days are really hard with the fast, but I'm not even hungry anymore. I feel all right. I feel pretty fresh. Cody, cool. Has JVD hit you up for any more information on your daughter yet? I think he's semi serious about that, from what I can tell. I think this might turn out to be the worst time to go live. So I think I'll hang about for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and then I'll try again at like 4:30. See how it goes. And I can't hide in the nighttime. Like you can properly see everything now. I know how that fasting thing works. They used to make me do that when I was having pancreas issues. Yeah, it's something I do. Like I've started doing it like 2 or 3 times a year. So what I do is I kind of eat whatever bullshit I want. Well, not I don't really eat too much crap anyway, but I tend to eat whatever. Um, and then I'll have like a week off where I have like you know, I'll just fast for a week and then shed off all the excess weight that I've gained and then just reset again. Are you in our Discord? I'm not sure if you ever joined it or not. So yeah, today's just a little bit of an experiment. I want to see if I can get I want to see if I can gather some audience members during the day so that it becomes like viable for me to do it then. Because if I could live stream and not have nobody in here when my son's at school, that would be ideal. And also maybe just targeting some new people as well. Worst case scenario is nobody comes in here, which is fine. I'm still kind of used to that. I don't know if I have our link exactly, but somehow I'm in 3 Discords all of a sudden. It's kind of funny. I find Discord to be a lot more manageable than because I use Twitter obviously. I didn't really take to Instagram that well. I don't like how Instagram's like laid out. I prefer Twitter. It's a little bit more easy to engage with people. But Discord's just easier, as long as you don't have too many Discords that you're joined into, I think it's fairly manageable. I think if you can keep it to like 10 or less, it's fine. You can kind of keep up to date with it. It's not like overly active as well. So it's like manageable. So yeah, I quite like Discord. I think I only joined Discord like 3 months ago. If that, it might even be less than that. I'm also trying out this subscriber only mode as well to see if I can bully people into actually subscribing before they start calling me a cunt. That'd be nice. I think you should at least be a subscriber before you start going off on me. How you doing, Hank? Yeah, I was just saying to Crystal there, Hank, that I'm trying an early one today. What are you doing up so early, sir? Good to have you here, though. You're another one of those who's kind of like a night owl, right? You're usually up quite late. I need to do some co-streams of you at some point, just to mix things up a little bit. But yeah, I'm all good, man. I just woke up, just got the kids to school. 1 a.m. That's not too bad. People might still be awake then. It's not too terrible. Holy shit, it's juice, man. 1:36 in California. That's sweet. Yeah, it's 9:30 in the morning here, which is not usually when I go on. So I'm using it as a little bit of an experiment. Good to see you though, Juice Man. I'm gonna try go. So I'm gonna go on now, and then I'm gonna obviously I am on now, and then I might try and go on like 4:30 my time, which is obviously sort of midday America time, and sort of see how that goes. Because I need to find a new streaming slot pretty much. Because these 1:30 in the morning ones are, I need to diversify a little bit, is what I'm saying. Good to see you here, though, Juice Man. I appreciate having you here. Those middle of the night waking up to have a drink and have a piss, yeah. Those advanced ages. I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I find myself waking up in the middle of the night a lot too now. Oddly, it happened when I turned about 36. It was weird. Yeah, well, it could be. I mean, it could be because I usually go on like 12:30, 1 o'clock my time, and then stay on until about 3 o'clock, 3:30. But if I could find another slot that works for everyone, then it gives me a little bit of variety. And if I can pick up some new viewers along the way, I figure it's worth a try. The worst thing that can happen is if I come on now and I come on in the afternoon time and nobody shows up, then at least I know that 1 o'clock is the only viable time, and I can just work my way around that. It's just about kind of shaking things up a little bit and giving myself some options, pretty much. But I didn't realize it was like 1 o'clock in the morning in America now. I thought it was a bit earlier. I thought it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, which meant I might be able to catch some late sleepers pretty much. But we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of happy as well that there's no UFC card on this weekend. I could do with a weekend off. But there is the boxing on, so I might jump on for Joshua and Dubois. But I don't know how many Americans give a fuck about that. Probably very few. Yeah, no, Hank, what I get sometimes is some of my former college mates, what they do is when they see my streams have gone on, they just jump in and don't comment. So they're kind of good like that because they don't really have much of an interest in MMA and they kind of want to see me embarrass myself as well. So they kind of do it for that so that they can then comment in the group chat how I was talking about this and that and then go at me. So it's literally they just come on here to dig dirt on me and that's about it. Yeah, but they're quite good like that. Fuck them then. 3:30. I keep it's you know it's hard to keep a grip on like the fact that there's this. I forget how big America is sometimes. Like you have different time zones. Frankie's mate say something rash. You're gonna have to go them pretty hard. To be fair, I appreciate it because when I eventually do monetize, I've got like a plan for that. At least it will help with the watch hours, which is kind of cool. They've openly told me as well. Sometimes they just come on and they just put me on mute because they can't stand listening to me. My friends are kind of cunts, which won't surprise you considering the kind of person that I am. Just a reminder, I'm still happy Osadi lost. And did you see him saying? Do you know what? Yeah, I honestly think that I honestly think that he was trolling. I know a lot of people jumped on it. They made videos saying that he's delusional and stuff, but I think he's kind of trolling. That's the impression that I got of it. But then with him, you never know. Juice man's up for a bit of cheese, yeah. I hope I have a dream. Steve Spiros, how you doing, bro? Good to have you in here. I appreciate the sub as well, man. I often enjoy when you jump on musicals lives. So it's nice to have some familiar faces in here. I was just telling people I'm doing a bit of an experiment today where I'm trying different time slots just to see how they work out. Because I'm finding it fucking difficult to have like the 1:30 in the morning ones just to catch the. It's like I complain about the UFC shifting their slots, and then I fucking jump on live to make sure that anyone who's here from America can jump on. So I'm just as simpy as the UFC are really. I simp to my American audience pretty hard. My audience. Friends are mini cunts. No, my friends are mega cunts. My friends are the kind of guys that you can't sleep around or you'll end up with like a banana in your ass and it will be all over the internet. They're those kind of guys. You know, they'll shave your eyebrows. You know, I hang around with those kind of people. So it is what it is. But no, I appreciate you turning up in any case, Steve. Like I said, I think because the majority from what I can see from my analytics, like the majority of people that come in here are from the States. So I've only got a very limited amount of like UK viewers, which is weird to me. Maybe it's an MMA thing. Frat boy fuckheads, like kind of. And I'm not really into that kind of caper. I think if someone's asleep, that should be like a no go. But yeah, they're a bit like frat boy fuckheads. I think Stipe pulls out the fight and Jones and Aspen are. Do you know what I think is going to happen? If Stipe wants to get legendary status in the community, not only should he pull out, he should pull out on the day of. On the day of, just so Jones, if he backs out, we all know he's a pussy. That's what I think should happen. Stipe would go down in legend for that. And I think the UFC should slightly, make a little deal with him on the side. Say, look, no one wants this fight. We'll give you your show money. We guarantee you get the winner. Pull out of the fight on the day. Let's get him. Let's get that fucking coward. When I was younger, we used to strip people down naked if they would pass. You see what I'm saying? And it's like I'm attracting these kind of people in my chat. We'd wrap them in saran wrap and leave them in a very public place. I suddenly seem more grateful for my mates. I never treat you that way. You say that now. You say that now, but I seem to take people to very dark places. Shaving my eyebrows, that's too much for me. I don't want to go to work like that. I'm using like tame examples right now. It's the usual frat house bullshit. Permanent marker on your face, and you have to go to work with a coming dick on your cheek. Shit like that. You know, and I've never done that to anyone. I've had my eyebrows shaved once or twice. Yeah, I had to go on like a first date with shaved eyebrows. Back in the days when I used to date. The day of, that's no. The thing is, because if he pulls out 2 weeks before, Jones is then going to be like, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it." If he pulls out on the day, at least if Jones pulls out, we can all go, "Yep, you're a pussy." Whereas 2 weeks, he can start making excuses. He can fake an injury of his own. We all know he doesn't want to fight Tom anyway, but that's what Stipe needs to do. He needs to get on the scale and then like, bam, take a dive. I saw that video as well. Tom Aspinall is going full heel, man. I love it. I'm assuming his relationship with the UFC is a bit dodgy now anyway, so he might as well go all in. I think he's a big enough star in the company now where the UFC doesn't want to lose him and they're going to take that occasional ribbon. So fuck it. You might as well go all in. Yeah, we don't want to give John any way of backing out. And it would really make Stipe the hero that we all need. My brother worked like a scam. I cannot drink anybody, so I drink them under the table. Yeah, you sound like you're well, the thing is there, Hank, we are like old now, so those sleepover days are obviously over. There's very rarely a time when like we're sleeping in the same space. But the thing is, we have like we're all turning 40 this year, and we have like a holiday plan to like Japan, which is going to be a very respectable part of the trip. And then we're all going to Thailand, so it's going to get fucked up then. And we're planning on like booking like a massive, like a villa that has like a huge villa that has like 9 or 10 rooms. So I imagine shit's going to get fucked up then. When you're all celebrating your 40, if you're all getting drunk, the old school shenanigans come up again. I think Crystal means she drinks people under the table, but she could grind them down and drink them. She is from North Dakota. And they're a bit too nice. They're a bit too friendly for it's kind of suspicious. Boy, that was a full speech of text hours. I can outdrink anybody, and that was the scam. Once they pass out, we do the saran wrap thing. I'm pretty solid when it comes to I'm very good at like drinking and not getting drunk. But it's the days after that's fucked. Hank, it's probably the perfect time to, when you're 40, you're feeling like, oh my God, you're kind of in a weird place between I'm not young, but I'm not exactly old. And then this is usually where the midlife crisis part comes into the occasion. You buy a sports car, you try and tap a 22-year-old, you start dressing a little bit younger, stuff like that. I'm gonna just embrace my old age. I'm gonna take it like a fucking man. Apart from maybe getting hair plugs, I might go down that route. It is cannibalism, but I think it goes on more than people think. Yes, the coping. Hank, you're a young man. It sounds like coping now, but one day you'll understand. I never thought I'd feel that way myself, but it's funny, man. You get to a certain age, and like the little wrinkles start appearing on the side of your eyes. Your back starts hurting for no reason. So I was pushing my son on the swing the other day. Must have been 15, 20 minutes. My shoulder has been caning since then. And he's a little guy. There should be no reason why I'm like feeling the after effects, but it just happens. It just happens. Like you wake up suddenly and you're no cunt. And you start thinking about all the things you should have been doing when you were a little nipper. For my midlife crisis, I'm putting together a home gym. I've already started on that. I bought like an industrial treadmill that I still haven't really used as much as I should have done. Yeah, it's so basically Juice Man. This is like a what do you call it? I think they call it a vertical stream. So it should hopefully pull people in that just go through verticals. You know, like I wasn't aware they existed until Brutally told me about them. Brutally Honest MMA. So again, I'm still much in a very much experimental stage in my channel because for some reason I cannot gain like big pieces of traction. I average like getting 2 or 3 extra subscribers a week, something like that. And I've been doing that consistently for like 18 months. There are days I've held on for dear life. I'd rather notice the visual effects than the physical scares. There are other, I mean, I haven't got hair coming out of my ears or anything on my nose just yet. I obviously still can't grow a beard. So I'm hoping that my body was stuck right before a couple of weeks before puberty was supposed to set. And I'm just going to have like a Benjamin Button type ending to my life. We'll see. But Crystal, that's not a bad idea. I think like you start realizing things like that. It's like my grandma lived until she was 98, and she started gradually eliminating things from her life. So it was like she stopped eating salt, she ate less sugar. You know, she started boiling her food rather than frying it, that kind of stuff. There's things you can do to kind of like, you know, stop the aging process a little bit, and also to feel a little bit better about yourself. There's definitely things you can do. So yeah, I'm already thinking about stuff like that. Like I'm trying to go for walks more and shit, drink more water. I'm obviously doing the water fast now, which is, how many hours is that in? Let me check. Hang on. Let me just grab this here. The last time I ate something was 86 hours ago. That's the last time I ate. And I feel pretty good. So there's little things I'm trying to kind of stave off. And I don't mind being an old bastard. But I'm not gonna willingly walk into the process, you know. Any little things I can do to maintain a little bit of youth without, you know, taking pills or whatever I'm gonna do. Been watching highlights of the previous events to take pain away from 306. I feel you, man. Do you know what? I'm actually in the process of making a video about that very thing, kind of going over the whole year. So it's something I'm kind of looking at. I want to start doing like highlight shows as well to add a little bit something else to my channel. Yeah, Steve, man. The last time I ate something was 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday. And it's 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday now. First 2 days were fucking rotten, mate. I can tell you that now. Horrible. How you doing, Torrin? Surprised to see you here, brother, at this time. Good to see you, man. Well, I've got 17 in here now, which is a lot more than I was expecting. I figured it was going to be like 3 or 4. So this is already a success in my book. I figured nobody was going to turn up. And now I'm just waffling about how I'm starving myself and trying to not become an old ball bag. And my friends are sniggering in the chat thinking, oh yeah, the banana thing. Yeah. If I see anybody buying bananas when we're on this trip, I'm going to be on high alert. Yeah, Hank, I kind of agree with you, but the thing is that we've still got, I mean, Drickus is highly exciting. Alex Pereira is knocking people out in the first round. We've still got them. We've still got Tom Aspinall, who's knocking people out in the first round. We don't count John Jones because he's not a real man or a champion at this stage. So, I mean, if you look at it from that, Pantoja's quite exciting. I know Pantoja gets railed on a lot, but his fights are he scraps. I don't get why Pantoja is so hated. It's bizarre to me. It's bizarre. And that's the thing. So I'd say if you look at it from that perspective, half of our champions are still exciting to watch. I would say Ilya as well at featherweight. So if you put it that way, 5 out of 8 champions are still, they can throw down, they can bang. And Makashev's not unexciting to watch. He strikes as well. It's not like he's a wet blanketer. I usually watch Lerone best moments. I didn't realize you were such a Lerone Murphy fan. I mean, I know you've talked about him before. I think Lerone Murphy's really good. He's got a fight book, doesn't he? He's fighting very soon. He's fighting at the next numbered card, I think. Smoke some crack, Steve. How you doing, my man? You don't even like Ilya Fer. You got to admit though, he's exciting to watch. Even if you don't like him, he's not boring. He's not boring to watch. I would say 5 out of 8 champions are exciting, and Makhachev doesn't really have bad fights either. I mean, when's the last time Makhachev had a terrible, boring fight? I can't remember. So that's 6 out of 8, really. It's basically Bilal and Merab. And Merab had a good fight with Cejudo. So maybe I'm coping a little bit. Good to have you here. Smoke some crack. I don't think the UFC is boring right now. Bilal will lose soon, and Merab is bad, but you can't be worse than Izzy. I'll be surprised if he defends more than 3 times. Things are fine in my opinion. I agree, Steve. We've got to look on the bright side. And there's a lot of good contenders coming up as well. There's a lot of good contenders coming up. So we've got every division feels like we've still got like a lineage to look forward to, where there's young fighters coming in. So I think there's a lot of hope. And it's like you said about Bilal. I think Bilal he'll probably. It depends with Bilal. Do you think Gaethje fights again this year? I reckon if he's going to fight, it's going to be at 310. That wouldn't surprise me. The question is who? Because everyone viable for him seems to... Oh, Lerone, the YouTube channel. I have not. Is he just called Lerone, yeah? I'll check that out as well. I think with Bilal, Bilal's looking at this list of people who's coming up, and I think he knows that Shavkat is the only one who could potentially beat him. And I think it would be a very close fight as well. I think he beats JDM because JDM can't get off his back. I think he beats Ian Gary, obviously. Who else is there? I think he beats Usman as well, which is why he wants him so badly. I reckon they'll... And another thing, I don't think Bilal fights until March or April of next year. I think he'll cling on to it. Gaethje versus Hooker would be amazing, and it makes all the sense in the world. It makes sense in the rankings. They've all got similar opponents. I could go for that all day long. I genuinely could. Gaethje and Hooker makes a lot of sense now. Love all the contenders and rankings fights. Title fights are the worst parts of the show now. Yeah, I kind of could agree with that. Honestly, he could win. I just do not see... Yeah, but with Bilal's age, it depends on how they match Bilal up. I don't imagine the UFC is going to want Bilal to hang around for too long, especially if he's being a bit cunty about getting booked. The one thing I'll say about Bilal is he has fought during Ramadan in the past, so that might not be something that slows him down, but Bilal doesn't fight again this year. I reckon we see him in February, March, and I reckon it will be Usman. I reckon they'll do JDM and Shavkat, and they'll do Bilal versus Usman. As much as I hate to say it, it should be Shavkat, and Shavkat's doing everything he can to make sure that match happens. But yeah, you're right about the title fights being the worst. But I think they need to stop putting female fights as title fights as co-main events. They need to put female title fights as fight night headliners to beef up those cards. I'm not talking about Apex fight nights. I'm talking about, in different cities. Put them on there, unless it's Whaley. Whaley's kind of earned it. But other than that, they should be fight night main eventers. And then you get your quota. It doesn't ruin them. It doesn't ruin a main card. I think Gaethje versus Conor, money standpoint, more legendary. I would love that fight as well, but I don't think Conor's coming back. I've been saying it for 3.5 years now, and I continue to be, correct by default. I don't think Conor comes back. Torren, I do think he'd potentially take it. It's not really a bad time to fight Gaethje right now. He's just been knocked out. He's aging a little bit. He's been in wars. I think Gaethje would beat him. I don't think Conor comes back. It's very weird, yeah, that nothing's been booked. He's injury free. He's being USADA tested. I think the UFC are trying to age him out because they know he's going to try and get the next 2 of his fights done as quickly as possible, and that he's going to try and move over to BKFC and elevate that brand. And they don't want that. 2 fights is very little to have on, and they want to kind of save it for when. And there was somebody mentioned as well about the ESPN deal being up in 2025. I imagine that would enter into negotiations as well. I mean, if the UFC no longer has Conor McGregor on the payroll, that could be a problem. And I don't think he's that big anymore. They need to get some new and better female fighters. I've actually got a video coming out soon where I talk about how I would improve women's MMA, and that's one aspect of it. There are loads of reasons why women MMA is a complete shit show right now. Like, they need to, like, the fact that they've got women in there with, like, close to losing records and on 4-fight losing streaks, and they should just make top 10, fuck the top 15. And as soon as you go on like basically have the same rules as they do for the men, or they're never going to get elevated. As soon as they go on a losing streak, cut them. There's loads of things they could do with women's MMA. Stop putting them as main events as well. Champions only on main events and not on numbered cards. Conor can smash his car into a wall, leg amputated. I mean, it wouldn't make much difference at this point. He's looking for any excuse to get out of there. He wants to go and do bare knuckle. It's fucking obvious. And he would do, I don't think he'd do that well in bare knuckle, but it would make a lot of money. The UFC are tired of Conor, definitely. He makes too much money. He's too much, and again, they can't lose him. Because as soon as he goes to some, they don't want to cash in on him necessarily, but they don't want him going off somewhere else and making money as well. We've seen how they operate. And they've proven they can get along without him. This isn't like 5 years ago where they needed one Conor McGregor fight a year just to get the pay-per-view numbers up and get that money from it. They don't need that anymore. They get 500,000 pay-per-views paid for a card by ESPN. They don't need the money anymore. I know it sounds crazy, but man, bear with me. The Magna fight of that fight, and it doesn't happen. Do you know what would be more likely, Juice Man? I'm going to be real with you. They're more likely to do Conor and Masvidal coming back than Conor and Gaethje. I think that would be more likely. Just how I feel about it. Because they can both make the case that they're both a little bit washed. They're kind of at the same stages of their career. Gaethje, I think, would beat the fuck out of Conor, and I think Conor knows it. Conor is a bitch. He loves fighting guys when they lose or when they're on their way out. He avoids fighters like the plague in their prime. I mean, he did fight Dustin Poirier after getting battered by him. But the thing is, we can all empathize with where Conor's at the moment. I mean, if you had his money, I wouldn't fight again. If I had generational wealth, I would be on a yacht getting my dick sucked, doing cocaine off people's assholes. That's how I would do it. I wouldn't fight again. I wouldn't risk my brain and my long-term health and getting embarrassed for a couple of million. What's the point? I wouldn't do it if I was him. I'm actually intrigued to see Pena versus Pennington. Call me crazy. You are crazy. Juliana Pena is one of my most hated fighters. I hate that twat. I genuinely do. I can't stand Pena. And I hope she gets smashed. And I think she will. I genuinely don't understand the whole pushing women thing. Neither do I. The thing is, Steve, they can fake it. They can just put 1 or 2 fight night cards on a year where they have them as the main event or put them as the co-mains, and they filled their docket. These token female main events are a joke. There's no need for it anymore. That whole woke era is kind of dampening down a little bit as well. I like the Jello comment. I'm all down for that Jello thing. Again, if this was 20 years ago, that's what we would have got. We would have got bra and panties matches like WWE style. Fucking hell, I miss the good old days. I miss the 90s. Never going to see it again in our lifetime. I like the Jello comment, though. I don't think there's anything wrong having a boner while you're watching people fight. It's the best of both worlds, in my opinion. Hank, is that Skate Tank MMA? Yes, it is. Subscribe to his channel, sir. Conor avoided a prime Tony Ferguson. Probably did. But they were also under the same management company as well, which I think was an obstacle for some reason. What the fuck are you doing here without my permission? I love that. I kind of wish the UFC would get rid of the women. I think they should. Real talk, I think they should. I like Pennington even less. Joe Hogan, it's not possible. It's not possible. I've literally had Joe Hogan. I'm a cunt, right? I'm a massive asshole. I've had a Juliana Pena video because I did an I Hate series a little while ago. I did one on Bilal and I did one on Pena that was so bad that I haven't released it. I was so vicious about her that I was like, nah, people are going to get mad about this. They're going to get upset. I was vicious. I made it like 7 or 8 months ago and I still haven't released it. It's just sat there. But yeah, I think the UFC should all just make female-only cards midweek. Or if you're going to have females on the card, just put them on the early prelims until they work their way up and prove they can have a scrap. And maybe do 1 or 2 a year at the apex so that we don't give a fuck. And then have championship fights headlining fight nights in different cities. That's what I would do with the women. No more of this co-main on a numbered card. That's another thing I would suggest as well, Steve. There needs to be like a quality control issue. Cut half the roster, get them out of here. If they don't have I think to be in the UFC, you need to have at least like a 70% win record. At least. Some of these women are like 50% less. Zhang Weili is my favorite female fighter. I think and the fact that she's not on the pound for pound number 1 just proves what a joke that is as well. It's ridiculous. But yeah, Hogan, I would definitely challenge you to a I Hate Juliana Pena face-off. I fucking hate her. I don't think there's anyone in the UFC I hate more. Connor bought I forgot about that. I mean, I wouldn't have fought Ferguson back in those days either. He was actually good. You might fight him now, though. We can all agree we would all drink Alexa Grasso's bathwater. She's all right. She's she's all right. Again, I think she gets elevated because women's MMA fighters are generally not that hot. They're capped at a 7. So she's a 7. She's a real world 7, but that's about it. I think she's very average. Yeah, I'm fine watching Weili. I don't mind Weili main eventing. Weili actually has great fights every time. I've seen Weili. I was there live when Weili knocked out Jessica Andrade because I was in Shenzhen at the time, and I didn't even know who the fuck she was. I've made the most money on a bet that I've ever made betting on Zhang Weili. So I've got a special place for, and I think she's kind of cute as well. I'll be real. Call me crazy. Tough actually had some good contenders with winning records on this season. Just do that. Yeah, I think they should do stuff like that more. Why do we need to glaze them by putting them on main events of and co-main events of numbered cards? Fuck that. We waited a year. Well, I say we waited. We waited a year and a half for Shevchenko and Grasso, and they served up that steaming pile of dog shit. Conor would be a bitch to fight Ferguson now because it's an easy W. He would be a bitch, which is why I think it might happen. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. We all know Conor McGregor's a joke now. And the thing is that because he has so many fanboys, it doesn't matter who he fights as long as he wins. Because with the amount of pullouts and stuff that he's had and delayed fights and whatnot, everyone's going to be critical of whoever he fights anyway. If he fights somebody who's really good and high up the rankings, people are going to say he doesn't deserve it. If he fights somebody washed, people are going to say he's handpicking his fights. He just needs to get back in there. If I was Conor McGregor, I would do everything I could to see out the rest of that contract. Because he's still 35. He could still do 1 or 2 fights in BKFC and make himself, not only elevate himself, but elevate that company as well. But UFC ain't going to allow it. They see it coming, and they're deliberately not giving him... They're offering him... And the thing is, they've offered him the Chandler fight now, and he's pulled out of it. So they don't have to offer him another fight for the next 3 or 4 months. And they won't. Nah, Ferguson is not putting up a good fight against anyone. He just got beaten up on the feet by Michael Chiesa, who's one of the worst fighters in the UFC. He looked horrible against Nick Diaz. He looks 50 years old. He looks like a 50-year-old meth addict right now. Tony Ferguson, they're going to struggle to find anyone for Tony Ferguson to beat. They should just do him and Nick, and then they both leave together. Give him a nice little paycheck to get, to send them off into the sunset together. Cannonier Baraujo was a great fight night. My favorite fight night this year was St. Louis, though. I'm pretty sure I might have been in Thailand or Manila. I can't remember. I was in one of them. And I got horrendously sick during that trip. I was having like hallucinations and shit. But that card perked me up. So shout out to St. Louis. That was a great card. And it wasn't overly stacked as well. Just a fun card. There have been some good highlights this year. I just think, like I said, the overglazing. Hank, why'd you have a different profile pic? That's why I didn't notice it was the real Skate Tank, aka biggest John Jones fan. I thought Hank the Tank was the biggest John Jones hater on the platform. I thought you were on my team. The only fight Ferguson looked good in during his losing streak was against Chana, which is very, very telling. And that wasn't the very start of his losing streak as well. He's looked literally old and like he's about to crumple into dust in every other fight. Ferguson's done. The UFC needs to do him a solid. Put him in there with Nick Diaz, start of the year, and they say to him, look, well, this is the last one. We're not booking you again. But Ferguson's going to be those kind of guys. We all know it. He's going to be turning up in BKFC. He's going to be turning up in, Bellator would probably let him fight there just for the name value. Tony Ferguson's going to keep fighting until he's 50 years old. And then he's gonna go on a mass murder spree and end up in jail for the rest of his life. Or on death row, depending on where he does it. I was Hank the Tank long before Skate Tank MMA. I think he'd beat Nick Diaz somehow looked even worse. I think Robbie Lawler went easy on him. When you go back and watch that fight, I think Robbie Lawler noticed within 30 seconds this guy's cooked. I better he's not going to give me any danger. Let me just go easy on him. Nick Diaz looked genuinely fucking cooked. It was. The thing is, though, I'm going to be real with you guys. I've never really liked Tony Ferguson. I've always thought he was a bellend. Like, I enjoy him as a fighter, but as a person, I've never found him amusing, and I've never enjoyed his personality. I've always thought he was a bit of a douchebag. So I don't give a fuck. I think you might be right about that. Because he lost to Gaethje, then he lost to Charles Oliveira. Who was the third one before that? I can't remember Tony Ferguson's record off the top of it. Tony is an asshole. And he's weird. Tony Bigfoot Ferguson. I've never liked him. Like I said, when his fights are on, I'm excited, but I think he's a tool and a bit of a dickhead. So I don't really care about the guy. I don't care what happens to him. But I just think the fact that he's had such a long career, he needs to get enough money to pay for his nursing home when he's in there at 45 years old. Dariush. It was Dariush. And that didn't go too well either. But even in the Dariush fight, he didn't get finished and he managed to chat his way out of that. The thing is, Tony Ferguson is tapping now. He's getting tapped. He's not just going out. The T isn't there. The heart isn't there. It's over for Tony Ferguson. Give him Nick Diaz and let him fuck off. Third loss was Dariush. And I mean, he held his own in that fight somewhat as well. He didn't get completely steamrolled, but that was kind of the beginning. We kind of knew that was the beginning of the end. And then he obviously gets his head kicked to the moon by Chandler, who I also dislike. The thing that made me like Tony was finding out he's genuinely crazy. He's definitely got bipolar. Like I said, I grew up in my youth with somebody who had bipolar. So I know what it looks like. And he is legit crazy. I just think he's also a douchebag as well. But at the same time, considering what he's given to the sport, he's given us great fights. From a sportsman's perspective, I kind of want the best for him. But from a human perspective, I don't give a fuck if he gets flushed down the toilet. Yeah, I think Tony might crump. I think that's how Tony's gonna that's how Tony's gonna go out in this world. You know, like in vampire shows when you get staked and you just turn into dust? It's going to be like that. Tony Ferguson is going to kill people. Yeah, Tony Ferguson's got a very weird body type as well. I mean, the damage that guy's taken CTE wise, him, Justin Gaethje, people like that, they're going to be sitting in a nursing home like this at 50 years old. Their kids are going to come in and who are you? That's their future. And we're going to know a lot about CTE then, and they're probably going to get paid. Tony looks like he scratches his face and smells his fingers. Ferguson didn't take damage in his Oliveira and Derry. I mean, he took a couple of shots, but think about the damage he took in the Gaethje fight. He got obliterated, and then Chana kicked his head to the moon. He's going to go out worse than BJ Penn. It'll be worse than that. He already is worse, and he's still around. He's had the same losing streak as BJ Penn, and the quality of losses has gotten worse and worse and worse. No, Justin Gaethje just acts dumb. You can see he struggles through interviews and stuff as well. Justin Gaethje is another guy I think is a prick as well. I've realized I don't like a lot of people, do I? I'm looking quite bad right now. Fuck it. Max is going to have CTE as well. 100%. I mean, if you look at it from Gaethje's perspective, Torren, yeah, Justin Gaethje's career, he's been hit more than he's hit people, which is unheard of for a top rank contender, a guy who fought for a title twice. He's got a negative strike differential. Yeah, I mean, Tony's genuinely crazy. Why is Gaethje a prick? Do you know what it was, Steve? Yeah, I'm going to sound like a little bit of a Conor nut rider right now. But it was, when he went after him for, when he basically said you're a shit husband and a shit human and a shit father. I thought the shit father thing crossed the line. That was kind of the cutoff point for me. And I also find it a little. I'm very wary of people who have what's that weasel's name? The manager, Ali Abdulaziz. Anyone who lets that cunt manage their career, I'm a bit wary of as well. But I just think it was that moment when he called him a shit dad. Like I said, as a dad myself, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like that. But like I said, as a fighter, I always get excited whenever I can separate the two. I can enjoy somebody as a fighter and then hate somebody as a personality, and vice versa. Like, I enjoy Marab's personality, but I can't really stand watching him fight. Hang on a second, guys. I'm getting a phone call here. It could be my kid's school. Hello? Hey, Francis. It's Chloe. I just teachers. How are you? I'm good. How are you? Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Sorry to bother you. I just wanted to check in with yourself to see how you're doing, get an update on your availability. I'm good. I'm still available in the meantime, but if anything changes, I can give you an update. Yeah, is that all right? That's fine. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, if anything does come up that way, yes, give me a call. We'll give you a call straight away. Perfect. Enjoy your weekend. You too. Have a great weekend. Yeah, you too. Thanks, Francis. Bye. Bye. All right. Yeah, I think he's definitely a shit husband and a shit human, but I think the shit father is going too far, especially when, by all intents and purposes, like there's a lot of things you can say about Conor McGregor, but he seems to be very hands-on with his children, from what we can see. So going too far, I think that was too far for me. I just thought it was unnecessary, and it was all to get a fight. So I don't know. I ain't sucking no dictator's dick. Which dictator are you talking about in particular? Where did that come from? Yeah, but Joe Hogan, you're 100% right. He's definitely a shit father. Sorry, a shit. Yeah, I just said it there. Definitely a shit husband and a shit human, generally. But come on, bro. Conor is. But I don't. That's the thing. I don't like Conor McGregor anymore either. I used to be the biggest Conor nut rider in existence. I don't like him anymore, and it's very tough to say as an Irishman. Like, I don't like him anymore. I don't care about Conor McGregor's career. Oh, the one Gaethje. You mean Kadyrov? Kadyrov. My neighbors call me Frank the Tank. Are you called Frankie as well? My name's actually Francis, but the whole Frankie thing just started online. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, I didn't like seeing Justin with Kadyrov. I don't know why they'd agree to that. Again, again that was an Ali Abdulaziz thing, I would imagine. Because wasn't Usman there and a couple? I mean, and Kadyrov is genuinely insane. That dude is genuinely insane. It was a weird one. You might assume that maybe they don't know the situation. Maybe they went into it ignorant and they didn't realize the extent of what the guy was. But it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. But I have a feeling that was like an Ali Abdulaziz thing, and they probably got paid a shitload. I know that doesn't. Henry was there as well. Yep, everyone. It was everyone from that stable. It was definitely like an Ali Abdulaziz fucking hookup. Usman and Cejudo, yeah. And I mean, Hamzat Chimaev is in the same situation as well. Hamzat Chimaev seems genuinely scared of this guy, and he should be. Conor is kind of a hypocrite. He didn't like Justin calling him a horrible dad, but he felt the need to attack Dustin's wife. I mean, I made a video a little while ago about can trash talk ever go too far? I think it's a tricky one to navigate. I think like I think things draw the line when you bring in children and when you bring in dead people, people's dead relatives or dead. Other than that, I'm kind of like, eh. Yeah, Hamzat does make more sense than them. He is from the region, but it looks like Hamzat's career is very much being derailed from that very situation. He's not allowed into the US anymore. That's affecting his career. It's interesting. Ali Abdulaziz she's like, I said earlier on that Juliana Pena is the person that I hate the most. It might be Ali Abdulaziz. That guy's a fucking weasel. Cejudo could throw him standing. I remember when Justin said he enjoyed seeing Conor getting knocked out. He said it feels good to see the big mouth get humbled. I understand why people don't like Conor McGregor. I understand it. I get it. The preferential treatment. But the thing is, there's always something to be gained from trying to pull that fight. Colby Covington was an example with Leon Edwards. That was too far. And Colby Covington's gone to that well a few times. And I think it caught him off guard. I think it cost him the fight. He genuinely looked like he pissed himself when he saw Leon react. Thanks for stopping by, Tank. I really appreciate it. Have a good sleep, mate. Hopefully I'll catch you tomorrow. I think trash talking should just be done away with. We're not here to see a soap opera. I love the trash talking. I don't want to see it gone from the sport at all. I love the trash talking side of it. I just think there's a limit. There's a limit. Calling out dead people and people's kids, I think is a touch too far. But it's the game we play. You should either be able to say everything you want or nothing at all. But I agree with that. I think Colby went too far. I knew how far I'd come in terms of my liking for Conor McGregor when he snapped his leg, and I was like, whatever. I didn't care either. I'm not the biggest Dustin Poirier fan as well. I kind of think he's a soy boy as well. I don't think you can say whatever. It's a difficult one, though, isn't it? Because with the whole freedom of speech thing, it's like once you start putting restrictions on things, it's like a downward spiral. I don't think, from my personal view, I think attacking people's religious beliefs, attacking their family, and attacking dead people that meant something to them is crossing the line. But it's like, it depends on what people's triggers are. Like some people might get racial abuse thrown their way and it doesn't affect them at all. So it very much becomes like a personal thing. And how do you police that effectively? I figure with the mental warfare or the verbal warfare thing, you kind of make your own bed. So if you do it, it can go in your way, but it can go in your way like it did with Conor and Aldo, but it can go against you like it did with Colby and Leon Edwards. So whatever you say, the court of public opinion is always going to pick up the slack whichever way it goes. If it's tasteful, you're going to get championed. If it's disgraceful, you're going to get shat on for it and you're going to get abused for it. So I think the court of public opinion always wins in those situations. I've seen a lot of people agreeing with Colby talking Leon Edwards is too sensitive. I don't think, yeah, again, but you're always going to get. I found the majority of people got behind Leon in that situation and shout on Colby for it. That was the impression that I got. But I don't know. I was happy when it happened. Yeah, I hate seeing what's like. It was like the Aldana thing. When I saw her head, she basically had a new vagina stapled onto her forehead. I did not enjoy that visual. I'm quite a squeamish person. I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Walt Harris's daughter. And the thing is, someone's going to go there because people are cunts. But this is the thing. MMA should be a representative of the world we live in as well, for good and for bad. I hate to say it, but like, I think what the UFC should do is they should have like there should be a thing where possibly getting fined could be a way that they go about it, because it falls under the bringing disrepute into the company thing. But I don't know, it's such a difficult thing to police. I don't know how you'd successfully go about doing that. It's tough. Where's Noah? Who's Noah? Who the fuck is Noah? What I learned is people will always say something to hurt you, especially if they know it's sensitive to you, and that's the whole point. But Steve, this is what I'm saying. If Walt Harris was still in the UFC, I guarantee you somebody would have made a comment to that effect, because people are scum. That's the thing. People are going to hit you where it hurts. And this is the issue we have now with like social media, you putting your life out there. If things are out there, there's always going to be a chance that people are going to use it against you. Mr. Cluckles, why do I get the feeling that we have... Why can't I hear an ice cream van in the background? Mr. Cluckles, are you a fucking... Are you Melson? Present yourself, sir. I'll shout out your son, Larry, but I'm not saying the rest of that. And sorry if you got molested. That's really bad. That's another thing I don't have time for in here, graping. I can see Walter Walker dissing someone's dead kids. Yeah, he seems like a bit of a twat. And he's shit as well. I think you should be able to be allowed to say what you say based on how good you are at fighting. They should have like a scale. Like you have to prove how good you are before they allow you to say certain things that you can get away with. I sound like a dictator right now. Yeah, I just heard that ice cream van music in the background. Melson's not far away. I used to entertain Melson's bullshit, but now I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just going to go at him whenever I see him now. Little nonce. It's good to have some of the regulars up in here as well. I was genuinely expecting this to be a dead stream. So shout out to all of you for turning up at the times that you've turned up. It shows that I might potentially have some traction even at this early in the morning. That's really sweet. But yeah, fuck you, Mr. Cluckles. If they're going to start finding fighters when someone shows up with a stack of cash, you know some shit will be talked. Yeah, again, it's a slippery slope. Me personally, I never cared about folks making fun of my dead relatives simply because they're dead. They can't hear you. Do you know what I find is funny with insults here? I never get insulted by what people say to me. What I get insulted by is the fact that people are going about trying to piss me off. It's like you're trying to get a reaction out of me. Cage, good to see you here, bro. That's exactly what they need to do. Start a family feud. We need some family beef up in here. Walter Walker is fucking terrible. And during his first fight in the UFC, I actually made the mistake of betting on that loser. It's rubbish. That's a great ice cream van name. I don't know where that ice cream van thing came from. It just came to me yesterday while he was talking his shit. I felt quite proud of that one. And it shut him up for like 20 minutes as well. And I thought my line about the 12 hairs was quite good as well. I thought I won that exchange. Good to see you here, though, Cage. Hope everything's well, man. Appreciate you being here. It's yeah, like I said, it's really cool that yeah, still people turning up despite the fact it's so early in the morning. I appreciate it, dudes. Nah, he was terrible odds in his debut. Who did he fight again? I'm pretty sure he won. Maybe he lost. I remember being annoyed one way or another and feeling like I'd made a mistake betting on him. He either won and I thought he lost, or he lost and I was fuming. That's like trolls on the internet. I ignore them too because most of them are miserable people. This is what I'm saying. When people get mad about people, like when you're on Twitter, for example, and people start saying shit about you, it's like, so what? Lucas Bresky, that was it. Lucas Bresky. Did he lose that fight? I can't remember. Cunt. No wonder I hate him. How the hell do you lose to Lucas Bresky? And they tried to give him a layup as well. I think Lucas Bresky was on like a 3-fight losing streak at that point as well. They're like, yeah, we'll give Vol to Walker. He's got his brother in there who's kind of known. We'll give him a layup, and then he gets beaten. Fucking scrub. That like button was talking crap about all your mothers, and you should hit it and teach it a lesson. Oh, thank God you're in here, Crystal. I keep forgetting about the like button. I always forget to ask people. I don't really think it makes that much difference anyway, but it's always nice when people do it. But yeah, I very rarely get upset about what people say. It seems kind of pointless. I'm very hard to piss off as well. Probably because I'm a bit of a shit talker myself as well. Biggest mistake you can ever make to responding. Yeah, this is exactly what I teach my kids in school as well. I'm like, if somebody tries to talk shit about you, just ignore them. Yeah, Junior Taffa is shit as well. He's another guy that you just do not bet on. Do you watch MMA, Joey? I don't. I obviously know who he is. I don't like people who are like contrarians that are I put him in the same category as like a Kenny or Koji. Just going against what the masses kind of say, and he's not doing it to troll. He really thinks these things. Like, I can't remember the last time MMA Joey had an opinion and I agreed with him. But I do respect the fact that he's done really well on the platform. Fair play to the guy, but I just think he's a fat, annoying twat. And I stand by that. But no, generally, I mean, I don't mind him. I don't mind him. He does annoy me. I think looking at him and hearing him annoys me quite greatly. So there is that issue. So I feel the same way, Torrin. I'm not a big fan. But yeah, I don't watch his content anyway, so he's not harming me. But he could very much be one of those people who yeah, Joey is tough to watch sometimes. He says such retarded stuff and spends so long trying to justify it. The one thing I'll say about Joey, Steve, is the one defense I can make for him, and I don't know why I'm defending him. He states opinions that he means. As stupid as they are, I don't think he's saying things to like, oh, I'm going to make this controversial comment and clickbait people in. I don't think he does that. He genuinely states opinions that he believes are true. And he really is like a Dagestani testicle gobbler as well. Like, he is so biased towards Dagestani fighters. But we all have our biases. So I don't know. No, I'm going to read it out. Read it in your mind before you read this out loud. Twat, twat, I can't hear you. I have an ear in function and it must be fingered out. He is arrogant. Arrogant is not the right word. He's sanctimonious. He's sanctimonious, which to me is the worst trait to have in a person. Like there's other MMA YouTubers on there who are like this as well, where basically if you disagree with your opinion, they think you're a retard. Like if you disagree, it's like if you say, for example, oh, like I get this a lot on Twitter as well. When I said that Alex Pereira would beat Muhammad Ankalaev and he wasn't scared of him, people were coming out calling me a retard and saying they were going to fuck my mom and all this kind of stuff. I don't mind people disagreeing with me. You're entitled to your opinion, but people who think that you're an idiot because you have a different opinion than them, I can't stand people like that. He said Justin kicked Dustin in the back of the head and said, "Is he?" But this is what I'm saying. He's stupid as well. He's stupid and annoying, but at least he believes in what he says. So I'll give him credit for that. I don't think he's just making stuff up. I've started to it's funny you bring up Ronin MMA because I was in this stream yesterday. I decided to kind of like pop in there and aside from the fact that Melson was I kind of ended up going back and forth with Melson. I think Ronin's all right. I kind of like him. He's all right. It depends on what mood you catch him in. Sometimes he can be very tetchy with his chat. Like, he can be very easy to wind up, which is part of the entertainment value as well. I like it when Joey cooks Jamal and Michael Chandler. I didn't know he went hard on Michael Chandler. That's actually a plus point on the side of MMA Joey for me there. The worst guy is that Frankie dude. True. I can't even deny that at this point. I mean, people say the MMA's community is toxic. Every community you can be part of with so many people coming in. That's why I kind of don't have time for people like Fair Play Cage. That's why I kind of get annoyed by Melson. I used to find him quite funny, but it's like I feel like he literally goes into chats just to annoy people. And he's not particularly funny anymore either. He thinks he is. He's not particularly clever or funny. If you're going to be a troll, like at least be good at it. It's the same rhetoric. It's like, oh, your mum gets fucked by everyone in chat. Oh, you like gay porn. Oh, you fuck midgets. It's always the same thing. It's always one note. He's hitting the same fucking note over and over again. So yeah, fuck you, bro. He wouldn't have the same Chandler or Hill if he's... But with Torren, we've all been there. I mean, half the people I talk shit about on the internet, if I saw them in person, I'd probably be asking for an autograph. No, probably not that far. I'm not that much of a simp, but I definitely wouldn't say shit to certain people's faces. He's desperate for the attention. You mean Melson or MMA Joey? Could be both. Yeah, Melson's the... You know when you've got a kid, yeah, who like... will like break everything in the house and swear at you and be annoying because they just want your attention. Melson is a 30-year-old version of that. Like he's never grown up. He wants your attention no matter how negative it is. But Melson's very much like that. He just comes into chat and then he goes for certain people that he knows he can trigger. But I found as well, if you just ignore him, he stops, he goes away. I'm pretty sure he was in here earlier, the little pussy. Yeah. I like when people call him Mellison. It's funny. I mean, it's clearly Melson, but I don't know. Jamal Hill letting the trolls get to him as well. Yeah, Jamal Hill was very easy to trigger. I think if you've got that kind of personality, you shouldn't go online. Yeah, do you know who Paul Felder said that to you? I don't know if you know this here. The person who made that tweet was Tyson Fury's dad, John Fury. He was the one who made that tweet. Apparently. I mean, we've all had a keyboard warrior element to us. Because if you're talking shit about people who are fighters, 99.99999% of all fighters, if you're a regular dude on the street, I'm sorry to inform you yet, female fighters will give you trouble as well. If they're trained, they'll fuck you up. It's just the facts of life. If you're an untrained scrub on the street, you shouldn't be talking smack about any fighter because in person, they will fuck you up. Yeah, it was John Fury, bro. It was John Fury. I think which is why he responded to it. Did you see Brian Ortega? Yeah, the thing is that the Brian Ortega one was weird because I think somebody shouted at him, "Oh, this is why Tracy Cortez moved on" or something. Tracy Cortez is not attractive. The internet has made people real tough. Yeah, it's the keyboard warrior mentality. You can't avoid it. People feel safe behind their keyboards, and most of the time they probably are. It gives insecure people the opportunity to talk shit. Yeah, Polyana Viana fucking up that robber is a good example. A trained fighter, even a woman, people like to try, oh, I'll beat up women's MMA fighters. No, you won't, cuz. No, you won't. Because they will submit you. They'll rip a limb off, and they've got actual striking training. I'm not ashamed to admit that I'll get fucked up by the majority of the strawweight roster. The only way, yeah, that you can beat up most female fighters is if you're like, you know, a massive dude, you know, over 6 foot, where you're so big that they can't hurt you. But me, I'm 5'8", 5'7". You know, I walk around at like 155. Although probably now I'm probably about 145 after this week of water cutting. At my weight and size, a trained female fighter would fucking dust me up. I'd let Polyana Viana get me in a triangle though. Remember in the late 80s and early 90s when it was the spray paint can mentality. Now we have the internet. There's less graffiti and more keyboard warriors. People got to find a way to feel good about themselves. They've got to find a way to do it. And I'm all right with it. The key is, yeah, to not be sensitive to them. That's the key to it all. Like, don't be easy to bait. What you've got to do is fake not caring, and then eventually it gets to the point where you stop caring. It becomes real. Because it was the same way with me. I used to pretend to not care, and then after a while I was like, hang on a second, I really don't. It kind of becomes real. I don't blame Ortega for going for that man in the crowd because of, yeah, some MMA fans need a slap. It was like when Sarukian punched that guy in the crowd. The guy grabbed him. You know what it's like to have your arm talked, out of nowhere, where someone pulls you by the arm when you're walking in the opposite direction. He could have got injured on his way to the cage. I think if you lay hands on somebody, you deserve to get a smack, in my opinion. Man or woman, and I've been saying this for years. I'm very much of the style of thinking that if a woman slaps you, you should be able to slap them back. I don't give a fuck how that makes me sound. Because once women realize they can get away with giving you a slap, Crystal knows this as well with her siblings here, shit escalates. And I fully stand behind that opinion. Masvidal said that they would tell amateurs, low-level fighters at AT&T to go eat. That's the difference. Those are trained male fighters, though, going against other trained female fighters. If Amanda Nunes went up against somebody who was any man who was roughly her size and stature that had no training, she'd fuck them up. But obviously, it's like I'm saying, yeah, average size men do. But like I said, if you're just big and strong, you'll just grab a bitch and no matter how trained she is, you could just grab her and just dash her down and fuck her up. It's weird that we're talking about this now, but it's kind of on brand for me, to be honest. Self-defense is self-defense. I don't know if you're agreeing with what I said there in terms of the feet. Like I said, if she slaps you first, I'm not saying punch her in her face and start stamping her out. But if a woman slaps me, she's getting slapped back. If she punches me, she's getting punched back. It's just how it is. I would never hit a woman first. I don't think your physicality is what should determine whether or not you could get hit back. Only intelligence. I think only kids and retarded people shouldn't get hit back. That's a good philosophy. I think if somebody's beyond their mental capacity to know what they're doing, you can maybe, again, gauge the situation. But I think if somebody's in perfectly sound mind and they think it's okay to slap you, they should get a slap back. And again, I'm not advocating to go too far or to start it. Like, don't be headbutting a woman and stamping her out or anything. That's obviously next level. But I've been in those situations before where I've been slapped by a woman and then I've slapped them back and then you think they slap me again? Fuck no. Sometimes you just need to let them know. Sometimes you just need to let them know. Hang on a sec. 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I've just got a knock on the door. All right, how we doing? Yeah, I had a ring on the doorbell, but I'm back. Lol, old brand, I'll fucking say, Frankie, what up, bro? I came in and you're talking about fucking up women. No. Again, this is how I always end up getting in trouble. Yeah, I basically said if a woman slaps you first, you should be able to slap her back. That's all I was saying. I don't think that's too based because I've been in situations before. I can tell you this honestly. I was in a relationship before, yeah, where I got slapped. It started with a slap, and I was like, you know what? It's a woman. Don't hit her back. Then she punched me, and I was like, all right. Then the knife came out the next time, and I've got like a permanent scar on my finger here. I don't know if you can see it. You see that white mark across there. She came into the house with she came into the room with like a knife. It was in the dark, and we'd been arguing, and I didn't see it, and I reached out to grab her hand, and I just grabbed the knife like that, and almost cut my finger off. So that's what I'm saying. You can't allow escalation, people. Another thing I can't is fake people who play in your face and act like they got so much love for you, but talking mad shit. I found out this recently as well. You know, some of my college boys that I was talking about before, they have a subgroup to talk shit about me when I say out of pocket stuff. And one of my other friends snitched on them. So everyone does it. It's fucking gross. I remember my friend's little brother turned the lights off and then crawled up to me and punched me in the balls. Bro, again, it's those reactionary things, bro. There's a couple of times like there have been times when I'm sleeping and my son wakes up and just stamps on me in different places. And I'm just gonna fucking fling him out the window, but you don't do it. Children's different, innit? Hey D Harv, how you doing, my man? Good to have you here. We're talking about hitting women, sir. And situations where it can be okay. Took a fucking beating at poker tonight. Didn't lose much dollars, but man, I'm fucking pissed. I hate losing money. I used to live in Long Beach. I've heard Long Beach is pretty sweet. You're from Ventura. Frankie, that happened to me. My ex had a knife and I tried to take the knife and it cut me. Yeah, bro. And then the next time, she tried to run me over with a car. And do you know why she did it, yeah? Because we got into an argument before I was leaving the house. And she's like, you know when women nag? She's like, wear your jacket when you're going out. And I was like, fuck you. I'm not wearing my fucking jacket. And I went outside. And then she got in the car. She was a little bit drunk. And she tried to run me over on the sidewalk. So that's what I'm saying. Escalation. And then the next time she slapped me, I gave her I just lost my mind. I gave her the thunder slap from hell. She crashed down to the floor. And then never again did she raise her hand to me. Bro, all my stories are kind of fucked up though. There's never like a positive message really that comes from any of my stories. I'm sorry to say. It's always like, this woman tried to kill me, or like, oh, there was this there was this tranny that tried to come and move to me, and then it's like there's always something fucked up going on in my life. Y'all got some mean bitches, and this is what I'm saying. I'm gonna say this to you quite honestly. This was an Asian woman that I was with. So all this Asian women are more nope. When an Asian woman is a psycho, it's next level. They'll try to poison you and all that shit. It's next level. I'm pretty sure I've been to Long Beach because I have spent some time in California. I went to everywhere. I was in not Crenshaw. I think it was like a Compton. Compton's not in California, is it? It was either Compton or Crenshaw. I've half thrown half my missus on the bed and beat them with pillows. I think that's acceptable. I think you should be able to marab that bitch. I think in any situation, you should be able to like wet blanket a bitch. If you see she's getting aggressive, you should be able to apply the takedown. You know, apply a rear naked choke without necessarily squeezing, just to neutralize the situation. Show her who's boss, and then once she's calmed down, Compton. I think I was in Compton. And I went to go get because I went to go buy my daughter lost her phone, and we tried to find like the nearest phone shop, and then take a bitch to a decision. Exactly, take her to a unanimous decision. Marab that bitch. Bilal that bitch. So what I'm basically saying is, if your woman tries to fucking fight you, channel like your inner Bilal or your inner Marab, and neutralize the situation. Don't fuck that bitch up. Don't be throwing knees and elbows and shit. They're all whores except for our mothers. I mean, until proven otherwise, D Harvey kind of got a point. I'm not like I joke around when I say women are slags and all that kind of stuff. Kind of. Carlos Garcia, how you doing? Crenshaw is the street in California. California, Compton, got it. So it could be both, right? Nice to see you, Carlos Garcia. That makes more sense to me. But anyway, and then this woman, this crackhead looking woman, was crossing the street and like tried to walk in front of our car, and then she called me a bitch and said she wanted to kill me. So that was my experience of being in that neck of the woods. I miss being in America though. I can't wait to go back. If she's gonna bite the hand that feeds her, she's less than a dog. Fair play. I think just driving around, I learned most of Long Beach. Yeah, that often helps. But Tim, even more of the men. I mean, I used to be a massive slag. I was a top tart. I'm not saying I'm ashamed of it. I'm not saying I'm like proud of it. You know, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, I guess. Whatever you do, bad mouth, don't ever go to Oakland, California. I think I've been to Oakland as well. I nearly got shot in America the second time I went there. There was a guy robbing like a drugstore. He came running out. I mean, I say I nearly got shot. It was a guy running past me with a gun, but it could have been, you know, and then you got chased down the street by a bunch of cops. You don't experience that kind of stuff in England, you know. It's just we're very soy, and I like it. Steve, that's fucking crazy, but those are my this is what I'm saying. It's a very small world. It is a very small world. I told you guys, literally, when I was in a Bellator event in London, somebody came up to me and went, "Aren't you that guy from YouTube?" And I've got 800 subscribers, bros. That's this kind of, and that was in Dublin, just a random event in Dublin. And some random cunt comes up to me and goes, "I swear I've seen you on YouTube." I'm like, "Oh, you a subscriber?" He went, "Nah, obviously not." So that was weird. So tiny. I'm pretty sure this is a simulation. I'm leaning on that narrative. I'm pretty sure we live in some kind of computer game. They also love Spice One in the Bay. What's Spice One? Educate me, dudes. Yeah, me too. I fucked hundreds of women. It gets pathetic after a while. Yeah, there is a point where it seems to be It seems to cease to be entertaining. Like I was literally at a stage in my life back when I was younger. If any woman showed me interest, I mean, twos, threes, I'd probably throw a stick in it. But now there's times when I'm at bars or I'm out, I'm doing whatever. It just doesn't matter anymore. It's a load of bullshit. Torrent Too Short is from Oakland. That's why. Juice Man. I'm an EMT in LA. EMT is such a, like, I've got such respect for that profession. You guys see some shit. You really do. Some maximum I forgot that about you, Steve, because I remember you speaking about it in Musical Stream. I've got such respect for that job. You never hear people shouting out EMTs when they're giving those, those shout out to the firemen and the police officers. You never hear EMTs getting a shout out. I swear to God, some girls just want to fight and argue. But this is the point that I'm making, D-Half, because most women, they know that they can't physically fuck with you. So they just try to mentally go for you, the things that make you sensitive. It's the Bill Burr one, isn't it? It's like, oh, your mother's a bitch. You got a small dick. It's that kind of attitude. Nah, Carlos, I'm not that. I've had a few close shaves. I've admitted this. I lived in Thailand for a while. There's a couple of times I almost got caught out trying to go for the that threesome belt. Going for the threesome world championship. And I've been caught slipping nearly. But you always wake up as soon as you see the Adam's apple and the large hands and the slightly husky voice, you wake up, you sober up pretty quickly. And then obviously the dick. When the dick comes out. A lot of people don't know Too Short. He was actually born in Los Angeles. He lived in the South Central area. Then at 14, he moved to... Who's Too Short? That name sounds familiar to me for some reason. Nearly all girls want to fight and argue. Yep. Pretty much. Crystal can attest to that. Yeah, I currently live in Compton by Rosecrans and Central by the Tams Burgers. So you guys aren't too far from each other then, right? Like I said, it's a tiny ass world we live in. It really is. That's the scary thing. Like there's a guy who subscribed to me like 6 or 7 months ago, and he lives right around the corner from where I grew up. I mean, I don't live there anymore, but even that was weird to me. Literally 2 streets away. Oh, Too Short is a gangster rapper from back in the day. Got ya. I knew it sounded familiar. I got you. Too Short is a legendary rapper. Listen to Cocktails. Hang on a second. Let me just pull this up. I'm going to pull it up and then I'll listen to it when I get off stream because I don't want to get copyright struck. Too Short, Cocktails. Gotcha. Yeah, this guy looks familiar. Yeah, I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to give that a go. Frankie, what are you playing at? Don't know, Chris Gray, man. I'm trying. I was saying this to the chat earlier. I'm trying out some like different streaming slots to see how it goes. Because my internet, I was supposed to go on last night and my internet clapped out literally 10 minutes before I was supposed to go on. And I was fuming. So I had an itch to go on live. So I figured, I'll try and go on morning my time, see if anybody turns up. I was expecting it to be a dead zone in here, but here we are. That's what I'm playing at. And I also might try and go on at like 4 o'clock as well to see if the same thing happens. I need to find like a good time to stream that doesn't have me up until 4 o'clock in the morning every night. I need to be a response. And also aren't you guys happy that you can see the full length of my features right now? And how much of a dusty ball bag I actually look like in the daytime. I'm going to give this Too Short guy a run for sure. It's because secretly a girl is jealous of her mother. Now we're getting all Freudian up in this bitch. Manolette, how we doing, man? I'm quite surprised at the people that are turning up at this time. It's crazy. Don't you people call me a vampire. Don't you fuckers ever sleep? Why is the live on this mode? Again, just trying it out. So I've done I'm trying I try to right now I'm in the experimental phase, Manolette, where I'm doing like verticals and trying out different times just to see if I could, because I'm really desperate to boost that subscriber count. Because I'm planning on getting to, when I get to 1,000, I'm planning on monetizing and basically sending all the money to like people like Northwest and people like that. And I've had people asking me to do like, emojis and all that kind of shit. So I'm hoping to refunnel the money to somebody who needs it a lot more than I do. Yeah, my eyebrows are fucking fucked up, man. They look like two caterpillars. You're pretty and you know it. I could do worse. I'm a solid 6, I would say. A solid 6. It's the perfect number to be as a male. Not too attractive where women stay away from you, but not too ugly that they won't let you stick a dick in you. Oh, of course I know about Ice Cube. I know about DJ Quick. Chris Gray's bringing Tupac into it. I'm glad we're talking about West Coast rap now, because I know so much about it. Bloody hell, yeah, the eyebrows are fucked. But I'm too much of a man to do anything about it. And bear in mind, I've had my eyebrows shaved off twice. So I appreciate that, D-Harv. No, like I said, I'm not looking to make money from YouTube. But if I can funnel the money to people that need it, I think that would be sweet. I'm thinking of like doing, sending. There's a few people I know in the space who are kind of struggling financially. So I think it would be better to divert money to people who actually need it. But I appreciate that, D-Harv. You fucking legend. I'd say you're higher than a 6, but rating other men is a bit too gay. It depends though, man. If you're comfortable with your sexuality, you can just basically, as long as you don't mind people saying you're a fruitcake, you're fine. Who's my favorite West Coast rapper? Let me think. Hang on. Let me pull up some examples so I don't fuck this up. No, 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 no. I'm assuming then that I prefer, because the West Coast rappers that I'm seeing on here suck. Yeah, you see, East Coast rappers are just better. 50, Nas, Biggie, Jay-Z. I love the Wu-Tang Clan. Big L was up there for me as well. A Tribe Called Quest I used to really like. Mobb Deep were amazing as well. I'm more of an old school. Mos Def. Wow, I didn't realize how much the East Coast owned the West Coast in terms of rap skill. I did not know that. Warren G was amazing as well. I loved his voice. Speaking of zesty comments. Tupac, hands down. I was one of those guys who I kind of sat on the fence with the whole Tupac and Biggie debate. Because I felt that Tupac always made like better music, but Biggie was obviously just a much better lyricist and just much smarter. Much smarter? Way smarter. What Warren G, I mean, he did produce a lot, but he did make music as well. You can kind of say he was Big L to me was one of the biggest losses in the community. The potential that Big L had was through the roof. Big L's untimely death was a loss to the entire community, because he would have been on Goat Mountain if he'd lived a few more years. But that's what I'm saying, Juice Man. I think West Coast made more like club bangers and stuff that you can jive to, but I think the East Coast has better lyricists. And it depends what you're into. Personally, for me, I don't really care about lyrics that much. And I know that sounds really shallow. I just want something that's enjoyable to listen to. How come everybody remembers that song Informer? Informer. I'm not singing the rest. Tupac was an East Coast rapper too. Well, he originated in the East, didn't he? And then he became like a death row nut rider. Eminem said Big L was the only rapper he wouldn't diss. Big L was cold as fuck. The fact that we only got one, I mean, Ebonics is one of the greatest the best produced, is one of the best produced records of all time. Ebonics was the shit. And then that UK cunt, what's his name? Basically did the same thing in UK style and got his dick rided for no reason. Wow, Frankie, where Warren G and Snoop Dogg are from, that's where I'm born and raised. Fucking amazing, bro. But yeah, Big L was cold as fuck, man. I loved Big L. Didn't Tupac originate in the East, though? I'm pretty sure he did. Didn't he grow up on the East Coast? I swear he grew up in like New York or somewhere, right? New York is East Coast, right? I sound like an ignorant fuck right now. Chris Gray will die on his shield hype. Nate Dogg was just, I like Nate Dogg, but he was not a solo guy. We need to let this go, Chris Gray. Eazy-E. Eazy-E was a scary son of a bitch as well. The game was the most hard. I never really got too hard on the game. The game is good though. Oh, he was born in Florida, but he moved to California at a young age. Fair enough. So he is like quintessentially a West Coast rapper. You go in at 12. Steve, respect to what you do, sir. Really, nothing but love for your profession, my man. Saw snooping content with Nelly Furtado in Kamloops because BC, amazing show. Snoop is a legend. I mean, he's not the greatest solo artist out there, but he's a legend. The sound and vibe you get from him. Yeah, I don't really listen to new music anymore as well. I'm not a big fan. I basically stopped watching and listening to new shit on a general basis once we got to like 2000. Shit just fell off a cliff horribly. But Snoop is somebody I reckon who would translate quite well to live. He's somebody I think would be great. Chris Gray, you need to come with some receipts, man. For fuck's sake, that's a lot of face. This is me in the daytime, Westy. I admitted it very much. Like, you get to see the full bull bag version of me live. Good to see you here, though, Westy. Bone Thugs were amazing. Again, they were kind of harmonious. I loved them as well. I got to be up. Yeah, take it easy, Juice, man. Thanks so much for stopping by, man. I really appreciate having you here. I didn't expect that I'd be on for like an hour and a half coming on at this time, but here we are. I'm grateful for it. Pac was born in NYC. I thought so. See, I kind of know what I'm talking about to some extent. But he moved to Baltimore, Maryland, and at age 17 he moved to San Francisco. So the thing is, if he grew up relatively in the West Coast, then he's a West Coast rapper, and he definitely represented the West, and he had that Western kind of style to him because they were very distinctly different. Snoop concert was a blaze fest, fucking wild. I mean, it would have to be. I think that's the kind of place here where even when smoking weed was illegal, you just let that go. You have to let it go when Snoop's going live. You can't go to a Snoop concert and not get blazed. 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Tupac was a homosexual. Probably. If you see like the early videos of him, he went to like performing arts school, which is a bit zesty to me. He's a bit of a mama's boy as well. He was probably so angry because he liked to D. And also as well, people are very upset about the Tupac got murdered thing. He brought it on himself. Yeah, Hit 'Em Up is probably the quintessential diss track of all time. I thought Tupac made great music, but everything that happened to him, he kind of brought on himself. He thought he was bulletproof. He brought the whole thing on himself. But yeah, the homosexual thing, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, Jay-Z, the stuff that's going to come out of, like, I'm saying it for those of you who don't know it, the stuff that's going to come out about Jay-Z in the next 12 months as well. He's basically the next in line to get diddied up. Jay-Z's the next guy. There's going to be some really dark stuff that comes out about Jay-Z in the next 18 months. He's already shredding stuff and preparing for the worst, preparing to jet off to an unknown island. because he's next. I don't think Pac was gay. There's breadcrumbs. Like going to performing arts school. I mean, all those guys are pretty zesty. If you see him in like, I mean, there's been undercover stuff about this. Is what Steve Spiros is saying. There's been undercover stuff about. There's been sly hints about rappers being gay for like years now. The Boondocks did it like 15 years ago. Stand-up comedians have been alluding to it for quite some time as well. What do you think about Ice Cube? I like Ice Cube. Jay-Z is an evil pedo cultist like Diddy. Pretty much, yeah. It's going to be like the trafficking of young people is going to come up with Jay-Z. I don't think Jay-Z is like a well, he could be a fag. I don't know. Yeah, but so was Diddy, man. It's when they get tired of you, Cage. Jay-Z and Diddy are kind of on the same level in terms of like influence and wealth. When they get sick of you, Cube definitely ain't gay. And if he's gay, he's hiding it well. I like Ice Cube. I like Ice Cube. I don't think there's anything diddly going on. He seems very much against that diddly culture as well. Hood culture is filled with gays. This is the thing, because I don't mean to sound funny here. This is going to sound like a very borderline racist thing to say. But it's the prison system as well. Like most of us would think here, if we went up to prison, we'd knock one out for a couple of months or however many years it takes us to get through there, and we get out. Go back to smashing females. But some of these guys, they get in jail and they're like, they have to stick their dick in something. And it kind of starts from there. I like, by the way, yeah, do you guys think that being gay is something that you're born with, or is it something that you develop? I think it's kind of a combination of both. But I do believe that some people are born with it. Ice Cube is way better than that. I don't think Ice Cube was ever an amazing rapper. He's a bit basic. Yeah, if Pac was gay, who cares? I'm not bothered about it. I've got nothing against gay people. Morton Brown. Ice Cube was a good actor. Or good enough. Yeah, I first heard reports of Jay-Z and Beyonce pedoing and trafficking kids back in 2010. There's like a ring thing of it. Being gay is a choice, if you ask me. I think in some cases it is, in some cases it isn't. Because I think people genuinely struggle against being gay, and those are the kind of people where I think, yeah, you're probably born that way. I put my receipts of Nate Dogg bangers of just him and you to ignore. I did not ignore them, Chris Gray. You did not come with any receipts. Here's the thing. Give me a quintessential. Cube was good for his time. I don't think Cube has aged that well. A bit of both, but way more raised. So you think it's an environmental issue? What do you know? I've seen some documentaries on it, and there seems to be like a lot of talk out there. You know, it was very similar to when Diddy first got. You know, people are dropping kind of things about him. You know, you hear comedians talking about it. Jay-Z's name is out there right now. I think you can literally make yourself attracted to literally anything that's alive. I mean, it's possibly. I mean, physical attraction kind of is like I don't know. I think it depends on the person. I really think it depends on the person. That's another point as well, like childhood trauma. It's amazing how many kids get like diddled as kids, and then they grow up to be diddlers themselves. It's that whole victim. It's like with Puffy, yeah. The reason why Puffy got when he first entered the rap game as a producer. I can't remember the guy's name. It was a record company that he joined before he was in I forgot the guy's name, but he used to get Puffy to nosh him off. And then Puffy started doing the same thing to other people, and it just escalated from there. I can't be attracted to a male, kid, tranny, or tree. I would like to think that I have the same viewpoint as well. I mean, I fucking love females. I'm just all female all day long. But maybe that's just how I'm wired. Maybe that's just how I've been And again, I've got nothing against gay people whatsoever. I really don't. I'm just stating what they could be, they couldn't be. I'm not saying it's bad or good. And it's the same as kind of how, like I said, with noncing, when it comes to children, I'm out. When it comes to animals or whatever, I'm out. That's where I draw the line. Puffy had a one-hit song. Now look at that weirdo. Yeah, Puffy's a strange one. And also why they have the highest suicide rate. It's true. It's true. I do think there is an extent of like mental perversion going on. I do believe that as well. But I'm not religiously like militant about it. And I'm not sure how natural it is. But the thing is, Cage. One thing I would say about the natural element of it, and the reason why I believe, trans women is another thing that I can't. The trans thing is just something I can't get my head around. But you have to remember that in the animal kingdom, you get gay lions, you get gay fucking dogs. Do they get perverted into thinking a certain way? It's hard to know. But homosexuality exists across all species. It's just not spoken about. You can still argue it's a perversion. Depends on your perspective. Trans women are basically men on estrogen. Yeah, pretty much. I think you can be attracted to a tranny dog if you put your mind to it. You need months or years of training your brain to. The thing is, Steve, some people literally, if that's all they've got access to, they will find a way to get attracted to it. Personally, for me, I just rather rub one out and use my imagination. I would like to think if I was on an island where I was stuck without female content, I'd just rub one out. And I take no shame in that. I'm not going to start sticking my dick in anything that has a hole. Not for a life, mate. You don't get gay animals only to show domination, bro. But I mean, you could make the same argument about like men in prison and stuff as well. And trans women can stay the hell out of my bathroom. Yeah. Let's face it. Moving forward, there's going to eventually be a law passed where every restaurant / place is going to have free bathrooms. I think they should just use the disabled toilets because it's technically a kind of disability. G-funk, mind control. If you look at TS women, most of them still look like men. Yeah, there is that, but surgery is getting better, which is scary. The gays, you give them an inch and now they want a mile. I can't stand it. Most of us don't identify ourselves as hetero. It's so lame. Honestly, I want nothing to do with them, and that's D-Half. That's perfectly within your right, mate. I think if something makes you feel naturally uncomfortable, you should be able to push against that. I couldn't agree with you more. The tranny thing I find a lot more disconcerting. Like with the gay stuff, I'm like, I find being gay, I find any gay sexual act repugnant, but I don't understand it. So I'm like, I'm not going to hate somebody for their sexual preference is what I'm saying. I tend to judge people on how they are as people, not what they stick their dick in or not, I guess. That's so stupid. If gender isn't a thing, then why don't people get a fucking bull for their milk and a rooster for their eggs and tell me how that works out? Carlos, I agree with you. The gender thing to me is just undeniable. If you're a woman that wants to be a man, just be a fucking lesbo. I mean, I find that kind of weird as well. I don't know what you get out of scissoring, but I'm sticking to trans. People taught me how to treat them. They can't accept themselves, so why should they accept them? This, again, that to me seems like more of a perversion. Have you ever heard of trans men? In what sense, Torrin? As in women who pretend to be men. They're out there. Once they begin to just accept themselves as they are, I'll give us thought as accepting them as they are. Yeah, I think. But mind you, yeah, growing up here, I was very much a part of a subculture where I was genuinely homophobic. I really was. I grew up in that kind of culture. And like, I'm not homophobic now. So I don't know. Maybe there's a time when things change and I become more accepting to it, but I'm not going to be going out of my way to do so. No, only if you're a trans gay or a lefty, you're allowed to have your own opinion. They do seem to have the loudest voices these days. I'll put it that way. I'm fine with lesbians. I don't find that no, I don't. I don't find lesbians offensive. I just don't understand it. It's all like the scissoring and using fake dicks that I don't understand. Like, use a real one. Yeah, Cage nailed it right there. It's like, what's up with the It's like you're protesting about how shit men are, but then you've got to find a stimulant that replaces that male organ. It's bizarre to me, but I'm all for it. You wanna sleep with a trans woman? Oh, 100%. My fully belief is if you're not fully if you have sex with somebody who's not fully born as a female, that's gay. I think even the ones that have like their dick chopped off and they have a pussy put in and all that, still gay to me. But people have different opinions. Do you got a Chad behind just staring at your stink hole? But then, I grew up around I mostly grew up around black people. Surprise, surprise. I've been called out for this multiple times by the way that I speak, apparently, which is a bit fucked up to me, but yeah. So I grew up in a subculture where like literally anything gay was like we used to, yeah, we used to shit on. I had a genuine hatred for gay people, but I grew out of it. I don't think there's anything wrong with being gay, as long as you're not hurting anyone, or as long as you're not like forcing straight people to do your way of, and as long as you're not throwing it in people's faces as well. But I have the same view as well. Like, when people are out on the road, yeah, and even when I see men and women all over each other, I'm kind of like, just go home, do it at home. I never tried GMO pussy, but I know GMO food is better than real food. That's all I'm going to say. Wow, Cage coming with the controversial take there. So is it a case of don't knock it till you've tried it? I'd rather just let somebody else have their opinions on it. I know vagina is good and I'm going to stick with the vagina, sir. Stick with a real life vagina. That's gayer. Having wed with a man but pretending they're a woman, or having sex with a woman but pretending it's a man. I think the second is 1,000 times gayer. I mean, you're making a fair point. But again, ultimately, like, does it matter? People are going to do what they do. Does it really matter? And we should be allowed to judge people for it in the same way that we get judged. I only did striking martial arts because I never wanted to hug men. Get the fuck off me, cunt. I'm going to a normal man sport rather where they strike each other than simulate sex. Yeah. I mean, look at the Dagestani situation where they're all in the bathtub. I mean, for them, that must feel like a natural transition. It's like, right, we've been rolling each other up, getting half chubs on. We might as well take a bath together. How many times did you jump gay people back in the day? Oh, I never jumped anyone. I just viscerally hated gay people. And this is me being honest. I'm not proud of it. Because I don't think it's wrong to hate somebody for their sexual orientation. I think it should purely be based on whether they're a cunt or not. That's usually what I go by on these days. That tends to be my philosophy. I think you shouldn't be gay, just like you shouldn't be fat or smoke. I don't support it, but it doesn't mean I hate you. That's exactly what, Steve, you've summed up exactly how I'm feeling. It's like I find obesity to be quite apparent, quite abhorrent. In the same way that I don't like gay stuff cringes me out and it makes me feel uncomfortable. But at the same time, I'm not going to judge you as a person based on your sexual inclinations. Man, that's like hot tub at the Daggies are, and we can't go accusing those guys of being homo. I mean, I'm not accusing them of being homo, but I wouldn't get into a hot tub with other men, is what I'm saying. Let's talk about wrestling onesies. Are those really necessary? What would you, I mean, I'm not saying they are or aren't, but what would you have as an alternative, is what I'm asking. Mass psychosis. And mass psychosis is more and more available now because of obviously the way that the internet is and the way that things are in general now. Man, you can see way too many of the details on my face now. I'm starting to freak myself out. I usually operate in the dark for good reason. But it's way too bright around here right now. But Steve is pretty much summing up exactly how I feel about the whole situation. Pretty much. By the way, I'm genuinely shocked here that it's this late, early. Frankie, we're talking about accepting ourselves. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about. Yeah, when I accuse them of being homos, I'm mainly taking the piss, but it's still needed. I mean, it is. You can say something is zesty in this. It's like how you can say somebody is. What's the phrase that I used to say? It's like you can accuse someone of doing. We'll use the gay example. Somebody can do something zesty without taking it in the ass. You can do like stuff that's a bit gay, but you're not gay. Things don't have to be so absolute. If you want to be gay, but there's a thing I don't think which you have to change. This is again, it's having it rammed down your throat, quite literally. That's the part that I can't tolerate. It's like when I'm like for example, I did a 6-month stint in a secondary school a couple of months ago. Like I covered for a friend of mine, and literally every text from 7th grade to 11th grade, they were all studying like transgender literature and gay literature. Like it was like we're forced to learn about it now. I'm forced to have it rammed down our throats. So like I said, man, when my son gets to a certain age, I'm taking him the fuck out. I'm going back to the Middle East or I'm going to China where they don't really tolerate that kind of bullshit. Not because I think it's wrong, but I don't want my son going home and being like, my teacher said I can be a girl because 2 people are getting their ass whooped within 24 hours. Zesty is what the kids are saying these days now, isn't it? And it's in the UK we say fruity. We say that guy's fruity. I don't think it's equally silly, but it sounds funny. So fuck it. All this talk is going to disturb my middle of the night. Chris is going to have some very disturbing dreams tonight. Sorry about that. Hey guys, let's remember I smoke to keep the rest of the world out of hospital. You've got to have an outlet. You've got to have an outlet, whatever it may be. Just try to pick an outlet that's the least destructive on other people. I think smoking's fine. I used to smoke. I'm glad I gave up, but I used to smoke. I think as long as you have an outlet that is, like I said, it keeps you from murdering everyone. I know a few gay dudes. The ones I respect don't ever talk to me about it or act overly feminine. My one buddy, I didn't know he was gay for years. His nickname was Gage. Now that's still funny. Yeah, like I find the whole gay friends thing is a bit. I've had some really like I've had gay friends that I'm still cool with, but again, some of them do try to cross the line a little bit. You know, making remarks, trying to get a little bit too touchy feely. It's in those situations where I'm like, don't force that shit on me. But we can be friends, and that's what I'm saying. You will have it's the overly acting feminine part in order to highlight how gay they are. That is, I'm getting deep into this here, but you know what I'm saying. Generally, I don't think I have anything against it. Chris, what up, you rat bag? It says I've got 33 people in here, including Twitter, which is crazy to me at this time of the day. So shout out to all of you. There might be some legs to actually doing this, doing some streams on during the day. I was genuinely scared that there were going to be 3 people in here, and I was going to be talking to myself. But yeah, I've been here for 2 hours, and people are still here. So shout out to you guys. You know, Frank, I have the perfect YouTube video to some of what we're all saying. Please let me be a part of it. I would like to have my say on this topic, as ignorant as it is. And I mean, I'm ignorant, but I know it. This one is 4 minutes, so I don't recommend watching it right now, but everybody should add it to their watch later. Send the link in here. And you already have. Hang on a second. This is another annoying thing about having a restream. Do you know, it's on your channel, right? Is this on your channel, Crystal? because I've already got loads of tabs open. I've got to listen to Too Short later on because I promised to chat. So that next time I come in, I can have an honest opinion about how I feel about Too Short. Izzy needs to head out of the closet. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of over. I reckon. Real talking. I reckon that Izzy is he's a what's that phrase for pretty much anything that has a hole? There's like a term for it where you basically stick a dick in anything. Izzy's that. Izzy's that dude. No, Crystal, because Crystal does most of the farming stuff takes place in the early morning. Yeah, it is a frame version. Like Tim, to be fair, if you drop in on a Sunday, Sunday is very chill. We don't get any degenerate talk on Sunday, and it's quite a nice change of pace. But I'm all down for it. Like I'm happy to talk about whatever people want to talk about. I think that's the reason why people keep coming back here, because they can say what they want. Bestiality, yep, that came up earlier as well. I have to go in a little bit and change the Rooster's bandages because he got hurt. You're doing the Lord's work as always, Crystal. I'm probably going to hang around for another couple of minutes. If there's anybody who you think I don't know who would be on at this time of night, but maybe there are some people you feel would be good to. I don't think there's anybody who's on to raid at this time. I believe. Because it's a very strange time to be going on. I think what I might do is cut it short in a minute and then come back on like 4:30 my time and see how that goes. I need to try some things out. Or I might try it out on a Saturday and see how that works. Because I am going on tonight as well to catch up with some of the regulars. A little off topic, mate. This stopped being an MMA channel like 6 months ago, and I'm all for it. It's 6:31 a.m. That's not too bad. I kind of like that we go off topic. There's only so much MMA you can talk about, and we did. To be fair, for like the first half an hour in here, we strictly talked about MMA, and then it just went off the fucking rails. This is why I get a bad reputation in some chats though, where people are like, "Oh, he's talking about gay stuff and all that." It's like, yeah, we talk about everything in here. We were talking about rapping for like half an hour. It's pretty cool. We've talked about gaming quite a lot in here as well. I actually think I might play that Black Myth Wukong game. I've been talking about it for a while. I might give that a shot while I've got a little bit of time to myself. Yeah, this is basically a male support group, and I'm all for it. I'm like a free therapist. That's how it be. I have been Gage, you sick fucker. I randomly woke up earlier. Yeah. Oh, okay, safe. Cage, whereabouts are you from, by the way? I know. I'm assuming you're American, but whereabouts are you? If you don't mind partially doxing yourself. I have family in England. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Have you ever been here? I mean, you guys even have a chicken in here saying it's okay to be a guy. We need a token female in here, which I'm glad you're happy to represent, Crystal, because it kind of legitimizes the fucked up stuff we say in here about women and others. Yeah, it's usually about 5% MMA from what I've seen. Based as fuck as usual, Frankie. I'm so impressed with this community. Insanity, it's commie insanity that we're all enduring. Yeah. You're from Denmark. Man, I love Denmark. Scandinavian countries I just fuck with. You guys have got the right ideas. Your kiddo is going to be a wise little fucker when he grows up. He's already based as fuck, man. Do you know you're impressed with your chat. Yeah, I'm so grateful for this community. I say it all the time, and I'll never stop. Being grateful for it. And I really hope that it kind of maintains this kind of size, because we can properly vibe. And I feel like I know you all fairly well in here now. I'm kind of getting that photo with the skinny guy and fat guy. Who's that? I think it was said lovingly, Chris Gray. I don't know musical sent it. Fair play. But yeah, are you living in America? You're a Dane living in America. They live in London. London's rough now, you know. London is fucking rough. I don't miss living there. I live in Cambridgeshire now, and it's pretty great. I love living here. It's quiet. I've got a nice one day, if just for you guys. When I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna do like a house tour where I'll show you guys all 3 stories of my house. I'll show you what's going on outside. I'll do a little like house reveal. Oh, you live in Denmark? Fucking awesome, bro. Denmark's nice. Share. I am a lot like one of the boys. I can hang out with the boys. Lol. I'll show you. Oh no, you've already proven your credentials, Crystal. They were born in the United States. I know most in here, and I think, yeah, this is great. I like, yeah. I think it was getting a little bit. It was pretty much getting a little bit weird in here at times when we'd have people come in and then squabble for like 20 minutes, and I was just sat there like, fuck's sake, this is going off a cliff. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But gradually, those cunts have been weeded out, and we've genuinely got good people in here. I just want to double check. How many hours am I into my water fast? I feel like I'm checking it. So it's 87 hours since I last ate. And I feel good. I've lost about 6 kilograms. I feel good, man. Yeah, Musical was a naturally born troll. I love that dude. Fuck, I'd love to visit Europe. Canadian dollars probably don't get you far these days. Things are kind of evening out. Like the US dollar used to literally be 2 to 1, and now it's like, I think it's like 78 to 1. So it's 78 pence on the dollar, which is crazy. But yeah, I definitely recommend visiting Europe. There's so many great places to visit around here. Spain is probably Spain and Greece are probably my top 2 because they're not overly expensive, and you still get sun, you get beaches, you get friendly people, and more of a chill. England is not that great to visit for a short time. English women are fucking annoying, and it's fucking grey here. What do you think about the UFC 309 card? I think it's shit. I think it's shit. But I will say this here. It is I mean, right now they've got Bo Nickel and Paul Craig as the feature fight. I like the Natalia Silva and Arujo fight. That should actually be quite good. Anthony Smith and Reyes, they're both kind of at the same level, and that was the fight they should have made. But right now there's only, as of now, there are 6 fights booked on the card. From what I know, there might be more than that. But from what they're showing, let me see. Maybe they've added more to it than that, and I'm just tripping. Veronica Hardy and Eduardo Mora. All right. So that's the only fight. Jonathan Martinez and Marcus McGee is a great fight. I'm glad they're giving Marcus McGee a push up the rank. It's all right. It's all right. Is it good enough to be an MSG card ending at the end of the year? Fuck no. But what we're hoping for is that Stipe pulls out of the fight on the day, and that we get Tom Aspinall and John Jones. That'd be amazing. Or John Jones backs out and ruins the whole card, and then we can shame him out of the sport. I'd be happy with either or. Spain is amazing, Torrent. I was in Sevilla like 2 months ago. Beautiful city. Ah, I actually like it more than Madrid and Barcelona. And Spanish women are fucking wow. It's like how we visit our Brazil. It's like they're like the Brazilians of Europe. But Scandinavian women are fucking amazing as well. So if you're somebody who's looking to visit Europe, if you like white women, go to Sweden, go to Denmark, go to those places there. That's where you get the top tier white women. And if you're into Latinas, go to Spain. Okra water. I have heard of okra water. I have heard of it. Okra's basically like a vegetable, right? I do eat it sometimes. Let me just make sure I'm not saying anything too fruity here. Okra water. Yeah. Because we ate okra a lot when I was living in China. It's quite popular. I wouldn't be surprised if Stipe knocks out John Jones. I think John Jones is underestimating him. Marcus McGee has that fat white wife. Really? I like Marcus McGee a lot. But it's a tough fight for him. Yeah, okra water. I've given it. I don't think I've tried okra water, but I've eaten okra the vegetable. I made a video about this as well, D-Harv, about Steve. My dream this year, whatever happens, regardless of the year, I think John Jones getting knocked out would pull together everything that's gone wrong this year. Spanish women are white too. I mean, what's your opinion on this one? Because where do Latinas fall for you? Because they're not yellow, they're not necessarily brown, but are they white? They're kind of like tanned white women, I guess. Cage has kind of got a point. Hey, don't send them to steal my Scandinavian. Bro, how many Scandinavian white women do you need, Cage? And Scandinavian women, from what I've heard, are generally quite friendly as well. Like they're not like British women where they're like entitled bitches. From what I've heard, maybe Cage can tell me the real get down on that one. Maybe I'm gassing it up a little bit too much. But Scandinavian women are definitely the more beautiful apples, as we like to call them around here. But I'm never sure how to classify Spanish and Latino women from a color perspective because they're not yellow. I think they fall under like the white category though, right? Just tanned white, which has always been strange to me. Depends where from in Spain, like in Italy and Greece. Greek women are all right as well. I loved Greece when I was there. I've seen blonde hair, blue-eyed Spanish women. Yeah, that's kind of a bit of a giveaway. Blue eyes tend to be very difficult to find in different races. Armenian women are quite good as well. I've heard Romanian women are quite hot as well. Like I said, you've got a choice, is what I'm saying. Scandinavian women are going to be good looking. It stems from the Vikings running around, picking out the best of every bunch and bringing them home and breeding to make more kids. I added the breeding on in there. Oh, Aussie chicks are like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Accent kind of pisses me off. But maybe they sound hot when they're getting drilled out. I don't know. Go on, mate. Give it to me. Nah, it doesn't. That sounded wrong. I wish I could undo what I just did there. They are outgoing. Yeah. One thing I will say about Aussie people is they're very friendly. They're very friendly and like nice people. So I could get behind that. For sure. If you're more of a personality person, yeah, basically, Australia is basically they're like our super bred criminals. So we basically dumped all of our criminals there several hundred years ago, and surprise, surprise, they fucked each other and populated. Italian women are very Italian women are beautiful, but I wouldn't say they're necessarily sexy. Like you'll find beautiful women there, but they ain't really got the bods to back it up from my experience. No, I like the bad British babes and the gloomy weather. Each to their own. I fucking hate women in this country. I really do. I'm Aussie. Most women fucking suck here. That doesn't sound like an obstacle to me, sir. Sucking sounds like a very good thing to be accused of. But yeah, Italian women are and like French women. I'm not really too much into. What I'm saying is you can get like a variety here in Europe. Italian women get hairy when they get old. That's true. They do get the Russian women are very nice as well. You do get some Russian baddies as well. You do get Russians are more Russians know how to throw down in the bedroom generally. But yeah, British women I just don't fuck with. I don't. And it might be because I live here. Like I just kind of know what they're about. Am I the only one that thinks Brazilian women have really nice bodies? But yeah, they usually have quite big jaws. That's not a bad shout. but their bodies more than make up for it. No, fair enough, Tim. I don't disagree with you. But yeah, Brazilian booties are kind of like they're a dime a dozen. That's the thing about Brazil. You can kind of like, you know, finding a Brazilian booty is not very hard to. Literally 7 or 8 out of every 10 Brazilian women has cake, which is my favorite. As long as they're not too stupid and they can cook. Crystal, thank you for summarizing that situation. It's like you said, all a man really wants is somebody that can look after their belly and look after their dick and look after the kids. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. Dating is like a roulette. You want to run away when it turns to Russian. The thing is, Russian women are generally they're more sexually ambivalent, I would argue. But then again, it's like Colombian women are great as well, and you can get down in the dirt with a Colombian woman. They have more traditional women out there. This has been a very typical Fight Night Frankie stream now. We've talked about gay stuff. We've talked about women. Fluffy Wiztard Toe. I like Aboriginal pussy. Really? Really? I've never partaken in Aboriginal vagina. What is it about Aboriginal vagina that you find so appealing, sir? Feel free to get as graphic as you fucking need to as well. I would have thought that would have been tough. Because don't they speak like... Maybe I'm being ignorant here. They done make Brazilian women under 8s, which come to us. So you're saying when a Brazilian woman is less than an 8, they go elsewhere. It's not a bad philosophy. This Aboriginal pussy thing has me intrigued, though. I have to say, I'm kind of... It's interesting to me. I like the black fella women too, bro. I don't like black women. I've been with 3 black women in my life, and it was literally a mixed bag. I don't like black women. It's not a race thing. It's more of an attitude thing. That's racist. Fuck it. I'm not a big fan of black women. But I'm not a big fan of white women either. So I think I'm entitled to say that. I've said it many times on this stream. I don't have Asian fever. I've got the Asian plague. Also, I like when Asians mix with other ethnicities. Don't knock it until you try it. The black lips make the pink stand out more and very strong vaginas. I mean, sexually, I've had very good experiences with black women, but it's just afterwards. It's all the gum flapping afterwards that I can't deal with. Call me a cunt. I don't care. Black fellarette pussy is good. What does that mean? What is fellarette? I would probably overstay my welcome in a Colombian vagina. Well, that's fine. Let's find a new one. Aboriginals or indigenous are known for hardcore good loving, great in the bed. Oh man, you've kind of opened my mind to this now. I never even considered them on the list. And Aborigines do a lot of anal. I'm not sure where I am on the anal situation. I've never requested it. I have done it once or twice. There were a few women that I say dated. I'm not really a dater. I'm just a smasher. But there have been a few women that I've smashed in the past who have requested it, and I've just been like, all right, let's fucking go. Are you reading a Twitter chat? No, I don't think so. I might be. There might be. I think maybe Fluffy. Can you give me a shout if you're in here from Twitter? Because that might be Fluffy Wizard Toe might be from Twitter, for all I know, but maybe not. Yeah, the Aussie natives have those pussy muscles and take it up the arse. Like I said, I can take or leave anal. I'm not a big anal person. If a woman requests it, I'll be like, fine, but I'm not out there seeking it. I've never had a situation where, well, let me put it this way. If I find a situation where I'm with a woman and they have a vagina that I'm not too friendly with, I won't be like, well, I'll just kick the back door and I'll just get rid of him and find a new vagina. I'm missing a lot of messages. If not, it's very possible that it could be Twitter people. I'm a black man and I don't like black women either. Can't stand them. Torrent, fair play, bro. And again, this comes from being friends almost exclusively growing up with 95% of my friends were black. Like 3% of them were Asian. And then I had like 1 or 2 white friends. That was it. I grew up in like a black slash, mostly black neighborhood, but black slash Asian neighborhood. And nobody speaks more ill of black women than black men. And black women go in on black men that go after apples. I can understand why black men go after white women. I get it. Anal is one thing, but people who eat ass are super gross. I'm with you on that, Cage. The only thing I will say, Cage, and this is I'm going to be perfectly honest about this. If a woman has a nice pussy, I'm happy to go scuba diving. But you have to accept that when you go scuba diving, there's going to be moments when, you accidentally slip, is all I'm saying. Eating ass is gross, though. And having your ass eaten is also gross, in my opinion. But I get it. I like your style, sir. Now, do you like hairy puss or waxed? It's a good question. I don't like somebody who could turn their pubes into dreads. I don't like an overly, long hair. I'm not down. But at the same time, a bald pussy kind of makes me uncomfortable as well. Especially with the amount of, the risk that you could do somebody who's underaged. So I would say a light trimming is where I would go. Somewhere in the middle is what I would go with. A bald pussy is a bit too far one way. One that you could make cane rolls out of is too far to me on the other. So a happy in between is my answer to that, sir. Perfect fence sitting I've managed to pull right there. Fuck black women. I can't stand them bitches. I wish you would stream like a normal YouTuber. What does that mean? What do you mean by that, Westy? You've been here since the beginning. If you're slating my style, then I might be in big trouble out here. What do you mean stream like a normal YouTuber? Trimmed is the way to go. Trimmed, not shaved. Trimmed. Trimmed down to that's the way to go, I reckon. I love fishy smelly pussy. It turns me on. That's another thing. Foul smells. I'm very sensitive to bad smells. By the way, I get blamed for this all the time. I did not put the chat in this direction. I've only seen a fur burger or completely shaved. Yeah, no, you've got to give a little bit of direction. Because with shaving you get stubble, so that's not too attractive either. But yeah, overly, I haven't seen somebody who's fully furry in a long time. No, Frankie has his own unique thing that should never change. Yeah, it's being like everybody else would kind of defeat the purpose of doing this in the first place, wouldn't it? But I try to take Westy's criticism on board because he was the one that got me. He kept me in the game, is what I'm going to say. He definitely did. He kept me around. But I haven't seen fully fledged fur burgers in a long time. It's usually very trimmed down or just nothing at all. It's been literally 15 years or longer than I've seen a proper holy shit. I need to wade through the. If it looks like a peppered slice of ham, that's ideal. We talked about this before. I don't like flaps. I don't like women who have loads of there's loads of folds and flaps. That shit freaks me out. And I don't like bad smells. Wash yourself, you smelly cunt, is what I'm saying. I like cute stuff. I'm going to keep it real. And it's like I said, I'm not a foot person, but if you've got ugly fucking feet as well, that's a no-go for me. I realize I'm quite difficult. I shouldn't be this demanding considering I'm not the best looking dude out there. I should maybe lower my standards a little bit. But it's worked out for me so far. That's 80s shit, full fur burger. Not the meat curtain. Meat curtains is a beautiful way of describing it. I'm gonna use that one. Meat curtains, because it sounds aptly disgusting. Flaps are gross. I'm just gonna say it as it is. I just like, cute, what? When I use the term cute pussy, you all know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Fluffy. I'm digging a name as well. One of my favorite fighters, Fluffy Hernandez, proper Chad. I think I nailed it. I think I nailed it personally. Women need to start spending on much time on their hygiene as they do. Cage, I'm not 5'4". I'm 5'7". I'm 5'7". It's never really got in the way, but then again, I've never been called a short. I assume that I've been rejected offhand by women just because of my height. Because it has come out recently that women would rather date an ugly tall guy than a good-looking short-ish guy. But I'm not like midget height. I'm like, I'm borderline average height, which is fine. But it is true that women are generally more attracted to taller males. This is true. So I'm kind of fighting a losing battle from the start. We make do with what we can do. Western people, all you guys, and run stuff behind us. Promote all you guys and runs. Yeah, pretty much. Western can basically make or break a channel, in my opinion. When I got Western in here, for some reason, I had Western in here for like a week. And then literally after that, my chat just started going off. Because I glaze Western quite a lot in here, but I think it's well deserved. Western will go to bat for your channel if he likes you. Nah, they would, Frankie. I'm 5'9", and I find they don't give a fuck at all. That's what I'm saying. If you're proper short, if you're like 5'4" and under, I think you're in big trouble. But like, I think if you're like 5'7" and above, you can kind of get away with it. As long as you're taller than them, you're okay in most instances. But women have very unrealistic wants in their men anyway. Western is the Dana White of YouTube, pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, that's a good way of putting it. I'll always be grateful to Westy because I was literally on the point where I was doing live streams for a little bit, a couple of weeks, and I'd have like 1 or 2 people in here, and I was getting ready to give up. Also, vertical streams don't work properly. Do you know what's possible, Westy? It might be stuck in top chat, and I'm just not aware of it. Let me see if I can. Hang on, there's going to be a noise for a second. There we go. Let me pause that shit. YouTube Studio. I don't think I've set it to top chat. I don't think you can. Content. I just want people to be able to come in here and talk however they want to. Customization. Let's have a look. No, it doesn't say anything about top chat. Westy, it could be that we're getting messages from Twitter as well, as unlikely as that is. Yeah, Weston is a great guy. Put me onto a lot of good streamers, including you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm sure he appreciates it as well. It's like I found that Westy introduced me to people like Sewer King. He shouted out Sewer King to me. He may have got me onto musical as well. There's countless people that Paradox was another one he got me onto. No Chill MMA. Dougie. No, I think Dougie, we met in Dougie's chat. That's where we met. But yeah, generally, it's a great community though. You do get your dickhead who turns up, but that's the same as anywhere. I'm 6'4" and I prefer. I'm with you, Cage. I'm with you. So the thing is, for me, I usually fuck with women that are like, or when I did in the past, less so now that I'm a bit older and settled down into a family and whatnot. I'm not kidding you. I'd be like 5'3" and lower is kind of where I go. It's just what I'm attracted to. I don't think there's anything weird about that. Women height discriminate in dating, but so do men to an extent. It's true. Like, I think ours is kind of reverse. Like, I think that men tend to discriminate against tall women, and women seem to discriminate against shorter men, which is very interesting. You keep being honest and providing a platform where people can speak their mind, say what they want. You will grow, brother stick. I appreciate that, fluffy wizard. That's basically where I'm at. I've been kind of crawling towards. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers at some point, but I've said this multiple times in my streams. As long as my community is as good as it is, it doesn't really matter that much. And I'm not really in it to monetize either. Like my plan when I monetize is basically to donate the money to. There's a couple of YouTube streamers that I work with who can't monetize and they're a little bit hard up financially. So when I get to the stage of monetization, all the money is basically going to just get funneled to them. I'm not expecting to make much anyway, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think it's more that just like having that 1K next to my name would be fucking sweet. It'll get there eventually, I'm sure. But I appreciate that, fluffy wizard, and hopefully I've made a sub out of you as well, because you seem like a really solid dude as well. I'm assuming you're a dude. Lol, I got a money-making scam we should all start. We're going to call it blindfold dating. We charge people to go on dates for their blind... I mean, that could get pretty fucked up pretty quickly. But I think I'm going to call it a day here, guys. Well, I'm not going to call it a day. I'm going to try and come back at 4:30 my time, which is in about 4.5 hours. And then I'm going to go on tonight as well. I'm basically experimenting at this point with different time slots to see how it works out. But by the way, to all of you as well, thank you very much for tuning in. It was a genuine surprise. Like I said, I didn't expect to do 2.5 hours in the middle of a day. And I think there is a show where people date blindfolded. So I think we might be late to the party on that one. I think Cage has got a point. But thanks to Cage, Westy, Crystal, Fluffy Wizard, thanks to you for coming in, mate. D Harv, as always, legend to have you here. Tim, let me see, make sure I haven't missed anyone out who's here now. Much love to everyone who turned up. I will be back at some point today. It's either going to be in 4 or 5 hours or I'll be on tonight. And then what I might do is I might do a midday stream on Saturday just to give it a try. But guys, have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are. And yeah, I'll catch up with you all soon. Chris as well. Chris, take it easy, my guy. Thanks for making me stay awake when I shouldn't, you dickhead.